Greetings, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to make you guys a video about the aftermath of my discussion with a representative from Auto Companion, I believe the founder of the company, Jaime, that I conducted on 27 October. If you check out those other videos about Auto Companion, you'll kind of find out how I actually found this service, found this business, and why I was looking for it. So without getting off on too much of a tangent, or recapping the other videos I made too much. The bottom line is, in speaking to Jaime, I heard some firsthand and secondhand knowledge that he had of Hyrecar in particular, and some of the challenges that a person, renting their car out on that platform would experience. And basically, it was a very bad experience. It was a situation where his brother-in-law had a fleet of like 15 to 20 cars on Hyrecar, and it was just a complete nightmare. Lots of damage to the cars being lost, stolen, smoked in, all kinds of stuff. So not good. But check out that video if you want the full story on that. So here's the issue, guys. After I hung that call up, I was like, okay, this is not what I wanted to hear. I mean, my entire business model was largely centered on Hyrecar. It wasn't 100% Hyrecar. I was also thinking about Turo, obviously, and was open to other platforms and stuff. So I was like, okay, let me just go back out there and do some more research. So just, putting in different keywords, what people might be saying about Hyrecar, nightmares, reviews, things like that. And so I came across an article that talked about Hyrecar. It was actually the rideshare guy. Let me see if I can just find it real quick for you guys. Yeah, here we go. Easier than I thought. Hyrecar review, my experience using Hyrecar, what to expect from January 2021. Okay, so you guys can kind of see right there, the title of this article that I ran into. It was a really good review on Hyrecar. First of all, this is a good website in general. I think just authority-wise, was definitely prone to pay attention to what this website was saying about this sort of thing. And so in this fairly lengthy, I mean, you can see how far the scroll bar goes. In this fairly lengthy review of Hyrecar, he included both perspectives, like an Uber driver who was renting off of Hyrecar and a person who listed their car on Hyrecar. So it had both perspectives. And it wasn't bad. I mean, the person who rented out on Hyrecar did pretty good and didn't have the kind of experience that I heard from Jaime when I spoke to him about this. So that was encouraging. What was interesting is when I got all the way to the bottom here and I saw Hyrecar alternatives and competitors, I was like, okay, Hyrecar versus Turo, got it. Hyrecar versus Lyft Express, renting out your car with Hyrecar. I was like, okay, so there's some other things out there, obviously, that I could do instead. And I went through this section, and when I got to the very, very bottom, let's see. When I got to the very bottom, somewhere in here, and I'm not finding it very easily, I found some information about another platform. And now that I look at this, it actually may have been a totally different article. So my apologies for that, guys. But this is still a good article for you to read, because it talks about the whole Hyrecar experience from the renter's perspective. I mean, the person leasing it, their perspective. So I would definitely check this out. But whether it was this article or another, I came across another platform that was super, super interesting, and that's Avail. And Avail, I could swear I heard of Avail like when I first started to look at this stuff last summer. And that was when I first discovered CEO Matty J. But this platform totally intrigued me from the get-go, because it was zero involvement by me. So no, meeting people, no renting, no like having to like inspect a car with somebody, take pictures, meet the person somewhere, park the cars in my driveway, park the cars in my parking garage. Avail completely takes over once you hand them the keys. You take your car, you hand your keys to them, and they take over the whole thing. And so when I was looking around this website, whether I was led here by this or something else, I got here somehow. And I went over to share my car, and this is what I was looking at, guys. So short-term sharing, less than 30 days, park your car for free at the airport, share your car to earn up to $25 a day. Long-term, 30 days or more, share your car longer for guaranteed monthly earnings and bonuses. I was like, okay, this is really interesting. So I clicked this. Passive income sharing your car. Going through all this stuff here, you apply to join, car meets certain qualifications, have an inspection, drop your car off, we share your car, you earn money. They do everything. They screen borrowers, they match your car to borrowers, they do key handoffs, they do 24/7 support, they do post-trip inspections, they do cleaning and refueling, and it's protected by all state insurance. Truly passive income. Pretty much sounds that way. So I looked at this and I said, okay, how much could I earn? Standard car, let's say picked up one of these Nissans or Toyotas or whatever, and I don't care about the car. I don't want the car. So I go maximum, how long can you rent it out? 7 to 12 months. Potential earnings, bonuses, and Avail credit, $4,150 to $6,850. Okay, interesting. And they break this down. $20 to $25 a day, $300 to $450 a month. Each month you share. Earnings are based on a 50% utilization rate. So that, I guess, assumes that the car is out about half the time that you can earn this money. You get monthly bonuses the longer you share, low mileage, and our newer cars receive increased bonuses. That would probably be the case because I would be looking at, some really newer vehicles, especially if I went the auto companion route. I mean, a couple moving parts here, but definitely, looked at this like, okay, this is probably going to apply to me. Avail credit, where you actually can, if you're traveling because you're sharing your car, you can actually borrow cars easier. Parking savings, because they are handling the parking for you. You don't have to pay parking. Car wash savings, mileage tax deductions, all this kind of residual benefit that they list here. Wear and tear and depreciation costs. So, and then they have a couple little caveats here that we won't spend too much time with, but I think I already alluded to them. So this was really interesting to me because this, here's some of their parameters. Automatic transmission, 2013 or newer, less than 125,000 miles. You guys can see some of the stuff here. This was interesting to me right here. No cars smaller than compact, like a Kia Rio. So I've been looking at the Kia Rios. If you guys have been following the channel, I've been looking at the Kia Rios. I didn't even realize the Kia Rio was a subcompact car. And unfortunately, the Kia Rio, which is great on Turo for this area, does not work well on Avail. It's not even allowed. You can't even list it. So that kind of eliminated this as a potential viable vehicle for me to use in this model. So the only issue here with this, guys, and I was definitely excited about this. I definitely said, let's go ahead and do, okay. So $6,800, let's go to the top end, $6,850 divided by 12 months. Okay, because I'm looking at this 12-month number here. If I understand correctly, they're saying, and I don't know what this Avail, I don't know how much Avail credit is factored into this, but let's just round this down to like $500. So it sounds like it's saying if you get a standard vehicle and you list it for 12 months on Avail Plus, you're probably going to walk away with about $500 a month. So let's say, $500 a month, and I did 10 cars on Avail, $5,000 a month. The problem is those cars cost something. And when I was crunching numbers on the Kia Rio, which isn't even allowed on Avail, but I was crunching numbers on, let's say, a $20,000 vehicle financed for 7 years at 5%. Those cars are going to cost about $280 a month. So 280 times 10 is $2,800. $2,200 in net earnings per month for a fleet of 10 cars on Avail Plus. So as you guys can see, not an extremely high number for having 10 vehicles, for having to acquire, negotiate, purchase, deal with various credit issues, that sort of thing, for 10 vehicles. I mean, 10 vehicles is a lot of vehicles. And to only make $2,200 a month is not a whole lot. Now, one thing that was interesting about this is if you do Avail Plus, they insure your vehicle. So you don't have to deduct insurance costs from what I understand. And by the way, guys, I did ask to speak to a rep from Avail yesterday. I haven't seen any confirmation of that. I'm not even sure they have reps to speak to. I mean, maybe I just didn't dig hard enough to contact them. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, okay. So there's a contact us. Okay. So I filled out a form and I asked some questions in the form. And I said, hey, I want to talk to you guys, but this contact us. Let's just take a look at it real quick. Okay, so they do have a phone number here and a chat. So I just haven't gotten that far with it. But I do want to talk to them about particulars like insurance. If I'm looking at these numbers correctly, I'm going to have a whole set of questions for these guys that I will put together, talk to them about, and then share with you guys. But this was just kind of top level. So the takeaway from this video, guys, was to kind of convey to you a reconfiguration of my strategy potentially between Hyrecar and what I heard from the Auto Companion rep about Hyrecar, and then looking at this possibility of using other platforms either as the primary platform or let's say a backup platform. So for example, let's say I buy some cars for Hyrecar. It's a nightmare. I know I can offload those vehicles to Avail and I'll still make some money, even though I'm not going to make the same amount of money. I mean, not even close from what I can tell. Because on Hyrecar, if I'm, so here's the number. I think I'd be left with 10 cars on Avail, $2,200. If I let's say rented cars out for $38 a day on Hyrecar, which I think with some of the fees and stuff goes a little bit higher than that, but let's just call it 38 a day times 30 days. That's $1,140 times 10 cars is $11,400 minus, what did I say, 2,800. So that on Hyrecar, a fleet of 10 cars on Hyrecar looks to me like it would be a pretty sizable income, like 4 times as big as Avail. But Avail would be an interesting backup plan, if I understand it correctly. Now, maybe I'm wrong about these numbers. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. If Avail was closer to this number, and again, I'm making some assumptions on all these numbers, but if this was the Hyrecar number and Avail could come close to it, the elimination of dealing with customers, dealing with renters, meeting them, parking the cars myself, be a huge attractive aspect of working with Avail over Hyrecar, even if Avail was less money. Right now, by my very rough calculations, Avail is only about a quarter of the earnings that might be possible on Hyrecar. So it just leaves a big question mark for me. I'm working my way through that. You guys are kind of along for the ride here as I work my way through it. I'm not entirely sure how to adjudicate this or how I want to adjudicate this, but it definitely poses an issue. It's definitely something that I have to get figured out and just need more information. So I definitely plan to contact Avail. I may do that today, or I may do that in the next couple days, and I will definitely let you guys know what happens with that. So just recapping, guys, trying to figure out, am I more primarily focused on Hyrecar, more primarily focused on Avail? We'll definitely get you guys more information about that. But wanted you guys to be aware of this. This was pretty exciting that this even exists. I think I saw it once before, but I didn't look at it close enough. So with that being said, guys, and also recommend you check out this Hyrecar review here, the rideshare guy Hyrecar review. If you guys Google that, you can find it from January 2021. So if you have any comments, questions, drop them down below. Hit the subscribe button. Super appreciate you guys checking in on the channel and showing interest in this, and will be of any help that I can if you guys do have any questions or comments. Thanks so much, guys.